Okay. The racing was good last night. In fact, really good at times, but I'm not ready to jump on the let's make it a points race train just yet. We'll get into that and more next on Racin'-n-Braisin. Well, hi, folks. Welcome back to Racin'-n-Braisin. I am CJ. It is Monday, and we do have a couple of things to talk about after the All-Star race. Yes, I was enjoying the racing last night, which was a little bit surprising based upon what we saw earlier in the weekend. We actually did get a good race, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But I do want to touch on just a couple of things that I noticed. First, during the intros yesterday, yes, they were definitely long-winded. Did they need to go that zigzag path to get to the crowd? Could we have had a direct path where it didn't take as long? Yeah, we definitely could have. I was taking note of how the fans were reacting, how the crowd was reacting. And I felt like it was a pretty genuine judge, like an honest pulse on how the fans feel about all the drivers. I definitely noticed some big cheers. Of course, for Kyle Larson, he got a good cheer. Daniel Suarez got a pretty sizable cheer. The 9, of course, Chase Elliott got the biggest one. Ross Chastain got a pretty good cheer, and I even heard a couple of boos in with his. And Kyle Busch, cheers. I don't think I even heard boos when Kyle Busch got introduced. On the boos side, definitely Denny Hamlin got the most. Joey Logano got a substantial amount of boos. What surprised me, though, is Christopher Bell got a smattering of boos during his introduction. And then as the cars were going around the parade lap last night, the confusion to my weekend was added by what felt like a last-minute rule dump. All of a sudden, Mike Joy was talking about how the race needed to finish under green. The winner had to take the checkered flag under a green flag. That came as a shock to me. I didn't know that. And I had even looked up the rules earlier in the weekend to try to present and make some sense of them for you guys. And I still either missed that or didn't see it or didn't know that that was a thing. Maybe it was a last second addition. I don't know. It just feels like, once again, NASCAR making it up as they go along, and perfect opportunity to do it in a race, designed to have gimmicks in it. So, well, whatever. The racing in general, like I said, was really good. Unfortunate that Fox, pulled their typical Fox thing and just focused on the leaders the entire time. It wasn't until they went to the first side-by-side commercial break that we saw any action beyond what the leaders were doing. At least there was a battle for the lead, especially early on. That was fun to watch. Your typical movers last night were Blaney and Larson coming from the back and marching their way forward. That was no surprise. What did surprise me last night was Denny Hamlin didn't go forward at all. I was fully expecting the 11 team to march their way to the front and be a factor in the race. All throughout, they hung in the back half of the teens and in the 20s all throughout the race. I think he managed a 12th place finish, but that came right at the end. That was not where they ran last night. I had even mentioned to Mom when we were making our picks for the night that I thought Hamlin would march to the front. Not the case. The usual suspects were at the front, however. The Penske cars made their way up front. The Hendrick cars were up front. Good to see Chase Elliott staying up front last night and not really falling too far back. Alex Bowman marched his way forward. William Byron, of course, up front. We, of course, know the Larson deal. The Gibbs cars were generally towards the front. I didn't feel as if the Toyotas were as strong as what the Fords and the Chevys were last night. They weren't as much of a presence. And there was that weird manufacturer competition going on last night that I don't think anybody cared about. The racing did get a little stretched out at times, and yes, my eyes got a little bit droopy. It was late. I was tired. What can I say? But I did perk back up several times. We had a heartbreaker with Brad Keselowski. He was having such a great weekend. I think the entire industry felt that heartbreak when he got into the wall last night. I know I, as a fan, did. I bet you guys did too. And then we had the promoters caution last night, and Michael Waltrip doing Michael Waltrip things. I like Michael. I like Mikey, don't get me wrong, but I like Mikey when he's being his genuine goofy self. I don't like it when they are forcing Mikey to put on an act and to, act goofy. Just let him be himself. And I felt like last night that whole promoters thing, they had, the side by side with Mikey in one screen and the racing in the other, which wasn't even really following any of the racing that was going on. We entirely missed the whole Larson thing. But, Mikey hamming it up was a bit much. We didn't really need that, but whatever. Gimmicks are going to be gimmicks, and I guess you're going to have the perfect person to pull one off in Mikey, right? And then he dropped the flag. Yeah, he dropped the yellow flag. I don't think he intended to do that at all. I think that was a genuine, he dropped the flag. He did not have a secure enough hold on it, and as it came back, he saw the hand comes back, and it just flew out. Funny, at least something for us to talk about. The racing at the end after all of that was really good. I don't see anything wrong with what Bell did to get the win last night. I don't think the move that he made was egregious or out of bounds by any means, and Joey Logano's rant and rave about how terrible that was and that he'll remember that and yada, 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 I think was a bit much. I thought it would have been even better and a better storyline overall had we seen a third car come into the picture and get a fender in there. Like, Ross Chastain was kind of sniffing there for a second, may have been a factor, but never really got up to them. If he had gotten a nose into that battle, I think that would have been absolutely awesome and would have been a 100% on, was it a good race? Instead, I thought we had a pretty good battle, and Bell ultimately, I felt like, did a good job. So that all leads us into last night and today's big conversation. Should North Wilkesboro get a points race? I don't see anything wrong with it, right? I don't think anybody does. It was nice to see that the track had widened out, that the surface is wearing fast enough to promote more grooves of racing, and this car surprisingly has taken well to this track. The racing yesterday was good enough to warrant, if we had more cars on track, I think it would be really good and exciting. The tire wear and the tire strategy had an impact on last night's 250 lap race. Now, notice I said last night. How would that play out in a 400 lap Sunday afternoon race there? Would the tires be as much of an impact? Would there be as much tire strategy? Those are the questions that I would have before we all jump on the let's make it a points race. But it does leave the curious question, where would that points race fit in the schedule? I had a thought. If we were to make Wilkesboro a points-paying race, that means that the All-Star race would have to be moved somewhere else. So my idea is leave Wilkesboro where it is the week before the 600, and then put the All-Star race as a Thursday night feature at Charlotte before the 600. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Does that seem like a fun idea? A Thursday night feature, or maybe even a Wednesday night feature? Let's do something that's, right in prime time, 8 o'clock, and let's keep it only to, right at an hour to an hour and a half at the most. Let's get some eyes on the sport in a positive way and really hype up NASCAR in Charlotte. That is NASCAR's home, and I really think that the promoters need to be doing a better job of highlighting NASCAR when they return to Charlotte. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that idea in the comments below. Before I let you go for the week, I do want to leave you guys with a question that popped into my head last night post-race. With NASCAR being so adamant about reducing costs for the teams, why do I keep hearing the idea of going to Brazil for the Clash? It's possibly as early as 2027. Well, why is that getting floated around? Wouldn't that be really expensive and cost the teams and NASCAR a lot of money? Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that helps me out and gets me out there further. I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm putting together for you. I hope you've had a chance to take a look at the candied bacon video that I did this weekend. If you have an opportunity to try it out, let me know in the comments how it turned out for you. Also, our weekend is behind us and the 600 is ahead of us, and I'll have a preview video for you guys on Thursday night with all of the info that you need to know about the upcoming weekend in Charlotte. Until then, I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you all have a great week. Take care, y'all. Bye.